Okay, so this is the next stop on our health and safety tour, and the reason why I brought you guys to this room is because it's actually where we keep our, drumroll please, universal precaution kit. So can anyone guess what might be in here? Good guess, but this is actually our biohazard cleaning kit. So can anyone guess what type of biohazard we might use this to clean up? Yes, vomit is one, as well as blood, urine, even feces. So this is considered your PPE. Anyone want to take a stab at what that might stand for? Nice try, but this is actually going to be your personal protection kit. So this is protective gear that you're going to be wearing and using when cleaning up any of the mess. So let's just quickly open it up and show what's in here. Now, while I'm going to show you guys what's in this PPE and universal precaution kit, I want you guys to take the booklets that we gave you at the beginning of the orientation, go to page 12, and there's actually a little chart that I want you guys to make sure that you're filling up during this stop in the tour. Everyone got it? Okay, perfect. Now, the first thing in this kit is just a guide of steps of what we're gonna do, and I'm actually gonna show you guys what exactly each specific step is. Now, before I get to tell you guys about what's in this kit, I want one of you to take a guess at what you think our first step might be. So, you can look in your booklet to see if there's a guide of reference. Maybe it can help you point out what you think is gonna be. Yes, so we're actually going to be putting on the personal protective gear that we are given. So this will include a very stylish apron. So I'm just going to demonstrate it for you guys. You're gonna put the apron on top and then just tie it up. And this is just to protect you from any of the biohazard, just so that it doesn't get on your uniform and it doesn't potentially affect you. We don't want anybody to be getting sick. So the next thing is gonna be our mask. So you just want to put it right behind your ears. So you want to have this on at all times, but because I'm going to be telling you guys the steps, for this case, I'm going to be taking it off. But again, you want it on at all times because you don't want the biohazard to have any contact with your skin or your uniform. And then last but not least, you want to have your gloves because you do not want to have any skin contact with the biohazard that you are touching. All right, so the next step is, in these packets, we have what we call Red Sea. So if you ever have to use this, it smells like cherry. So that's the one positive of the universal precaution kit. So for example, let's say that there's a spill over here. What this does is, when I open it, I'm gonna wanna spill it all over the biohazard. And while this white powder is going on top of, for example, the vomit, it's actually gonna coagulate it, and it's gonna make the vomit harden up a bit to make it easier to sweep up later on. But if the biohazard ever ends up being a bit bigger than what these 2 red packets can do, you're gonna actually wanna go back to this room, and we have a white tub which has a whole supply of white cherry powder. As well, one thing I forgot to mention, if you do have long hair or hair that might get in the way, it is helpful to put it to the back in a ponytail or a bun, just so that, again, no contact with the biohazard. So after that, it's fully hardened. Now we can go and get our scooper. So we're just gonna break it in half. Very simple, and you just wanna use this. It's like the broom and dustpan, so you just wanna use the little broom, put it into the dustpan, and we're gonna keep this along to the side. Any of the waste that you use in this, you wanna keep to the side, because we are gonna throw that away, but in a special bag marked just for biohazard. Now, again, if the spill ends up being a little bit bigger than what you planned on it to be, you're able to use a broom and dustpan, but the thing is, since it's biohazard, you're gonna wanna make sure that you use the broom and dustpan and sweep it up. But after you do that, after you throw out the biohazard in the biohazard bag, you're gonna have to dispose of that broom and dustpan, because now it has been contaminated. So now, the next thing in our kit are these wipes, and they are bacteria killing wipes. So after you have swept up all of the cherry powder and all of the biohazard waste, you're gonna take these wipes, it's disinfectant, and it's just gonna remove any last bit of biohazard that might have been there, get all of it gone, just so that you, your coworkers, and any guests in the theater do not have to deal with this. And then we're gonna leave it to the side. And then next, is you're gonna take this napkin, and we're gonna use this to just dry it up, because we don't wanna have any spots in the theater that could end up potentially being a tripping hazard if it became wet. And if it did so, then you could also leave a wet floor sign, just to prevent anyone from possibly slipping on the biohazard. So now, the next step is just getting the biohazard bag. So you want to throw out anything that you used in it. So throw out all of the waste. And this stuff is very important. So let's say that I put the mask back on. Do any of you know which personal protective equipment I would have to take off first? The mask is a good idea, but not quite yet. So the first thing we're actually gonna take off is the apron. And for the apron, you can just rip it off. So you can just go full Hulk out on it and throw it out. And the next thing is, you're gonna wanna take off the gloves, but we do the gloves in a very specific way because our hands handled the biohazard, and we don't want to potentially touch ourselves with any of that. So we're actually gonna pull each finger up, and we do it for the other hand as well. So we want it to be basically like this. Can everyone see? Okay, so the first glove, we take it off like this, and we should have taken the fingers on the other hand high enough that we can just shake it off, and then we would take off the mask, and the mask would be thrown out, and then we want to make sure that we use our mini towelette to clean our hands and get rid of any possible bacteria. As well, you should always wash your hands after dealing with any biohazard, because although this kills bacteria, you want to be 100% sure that you got rid of all of it. Now, with this bag, it's red for a reason and says biohazard with a very lovely sign, because we do not want to be carrying this in the lobby and just throwing it in the lobby garbage or auditorium garbage, because this is biohazard. It has someone's vomit in it. So instead, we're going to go to the compactor room and we're going to throw it in there, because since it's labeled biohazard, when the garbage comes to pick up all the trash, they'll be able to tell from the red bag that it's biohazard. So, does anyone have any questions? Were you all able to write that down in your booklets? Okay, perfect. On to our next stop.